You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
You're probably a bit confused right now. I broke the glass. It's all come back to me.
This. What is this?
That's my ship.
What?
Let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor. I'm a traveller in space and time. And that thing buried down there is called a TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. You're gonna love this.
Hey there, listeners, and happy holidays. That's right, folks. We are back, and I got a good one for you this time. We have a great one. I know I say that every episode. We had a great one when we talked about the faceless ones last time, but
we
this
don't
one...
say that every episode.
Yeah, we really don't, especially not recently.
No. Yeah, well, hey, faceless ones was fun.
Faceless, but then, faceless one ones we're talking about last season.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, our we have a streak of one.
Right.
Yeah. Touche, because, yeah, I forgot we talked about the first Doctor before that. So, yeah, okay. So we got another hopefully good one for you guys, but I'm really looking forward to talking about this one. We are going back to the 11th Doctor era, folks, and we're talking about the end of his first season, and we are talking about the Pandorica opens and the Big Bang. This is going to be a lot. You know, I was actually shocked when we were looking through the list, and we had not talked about this one on the show before. And so much happened. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, sit in, folks. We're going to be talking for quite some time. And that's not even counting the news. We have a big show for you guys tonight, and we're really glad to be here. We actually, of course, let's say hi to our regulars. Miss Mary Ogle's here.
Hi, everybody. It is fantastic to be here, especially to talk about these fantastic episodes.
And we have Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
And sitting in with us, returning once again to the show, it is a true honor to have this young lady with us. Let's welcome back Shirley Wenlock-Hot to the show.
Hi, and these are two of my favorite episodes, and I wonder why.
Gee, you like these episodes so much, you decided to name your restaurant after one of these.
That is exactly correct, Mike. Absolutely.
So while we're talking about it, do you want to promote your restaurant and tell everyone about the lovely place of Beacon, New York?
Okay. Well, yes, we're located in lovely Beacon, New York, right in the Hudson Valley in Dutchess County, right on the Hudson River. It's beautiful. The restaurant is called the Pandorica Restaurant. It's at 165 Main Street in Beacon. We are totally Doctor Who themed. It's a little bit of an homage to Matt Smith because of the time period that it came out. When I was building the decor, Matt Smith was his era. So, and of course, we're the Pandorica. So we have a lot of Matt Smith items in there. A lot of the food is named after characters, and there's a lot of puns. And it's just a fun place to be, and you should all come up and visit whenever you can.
Whenever we could travel again, we would love to do it. It would actually be a lot of fun once we could travel to actually record a show at the restaurant.
Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, I think we should make that, you know. Yeah, exactly. We'll just hop in a TARDIS, you know, we'll stop through in Florida, pick up Mary, and then we'll all go up to New York. Wibbly wobbly, tommy wommy. We could be there yesterday.
We could be awesome. There for the grand opening.
Be there before the shutdown.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
We could be there before the Pandorica opens.
Yes.
oh, wow.
Hey,
Okay, at
she
least
said
he said.
puns.
Hey.
Oh, of course. It is awesome. So, how can people find the restaurant? Or do you have an online presence?
I have a website, which is thepandoricarestaurant.com. I'm also on Facebook as the Pandorica Restaurant. I'm on Twitter and Instagram also as the Pandorica Restaurant. And we are, our calendar of events and things that we do is first on Facebook because it's the easiest place to post something. And then all the other social media platforms follow afterwards, including the webpage. And we have an event coming up on, hey, guess what day? New Year's Day. We have a dinner and a screening of the new episode, the holiday episode. So we're taking reservations. We're very limited on space, but we'd love to see whoever wants to come up.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Folks, this place is amazing. When I found this restaurant, I was like, almost like shocked when we found it. My niece was with me, and she was just a bit as big of a Doctor Who fan. She says, Uncle Mike, tell me this is a Doctor Who restaurant. And I said, yes, it is. She says, we're going in. And Shirley was wonderful to show us around everywhere. It was just great. And we just had a blast. And, folks, you cannot miss this place from the blue TARDIS door going into the restaurant. And their bathroom is is Doctor Who themed. It is awesome.
Everything. That's everything. If you know Doctor Who, you see it all. If you don't know Doctor Who, it's just a lovely, funky place in Beacon, just like one of the other funky places. And we get a few of that. But, as Matt Smith said in the Pandorica Opens, the Pandorica, it's just a fairy tale.
Yes, it is. And we will get all into that. But we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. Please write us at feedback@earthstationwho.com. What did you think of these episodes? Did you guys like it? Did you were ambivalent to it? Did you like the changes they made to some of the things, to the Doctor Who lore, or they added a lot to it also? So it was really interesting to see. For me, we'll get into it. I don't want to start going, I almost just was about to dive into that rabbit hole, but we've got other things to talk about first. But definitely, please, check us out. Also, folks, if you listen to the show, please tell all your friends about us. We get listeners, but we would love more. Tell your friends, if you have a Doctor Who fan in your life, please tell them about us. Tell them about myself, Mary, and Mike talking about Doctor Who every other week. And we have so much still to come before we get to it, Trial of a Time Lord. So we just have a lot to get into. And, we are up on, Apple Podcasts. We're up on Stitcher. We're at Spotify, wherever you could find podcasts. Even Earth Station Who is there. We're even up on Amazon Music and Alexa, so you can go, hey Alexa, play the Earth Station Who podcast on Amazon Music. Thank you. So we've actually, last time that worked on Kirby's machine, which was awesome. So it was great, and that shows what Kirby should be wearing headphones while we're doing this. So it was cool, but we had a great time doing this kind of stuff. And please tell people about us. We also have a great social media presence. We're up on Twitter. We're up on Instagram as ESO Network, but we also have a great Facebook group. We have an amazing Facebook group for Earth Station Who. So definitely check it out. And if you feel like it, we do have a Patreon, and, the ESO Network has a great Patreon where we talk about, the show 48 hours. Earth Station 1, 48 hours, and the Dragon Con report, 48 hours before it goes live out to the general public. So we got a lot of stuff, going for us up on Patreon. We also have special episodes and stories. We've put panels that we've been to at different cons up on Patreon exclusively. We also have exclusive podcasts by the ESO Board Silly crew. We also have exclusive material from our other shows on the network. And then depending what level you're at, you could even get some ESO swag, stickers or posters, or even, sit in as a co-host on any one of the ESO network shows, all for as little as 25 cents a week.
A confirmed release date.
So for 25 cents a week, you could help support the ESO network. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/ESO
You can always
network.
change.
Check us out. Couldn't hurt. It's a giving day. That's right. Everyone, thanks for giving. Now give to ESO. We would really appreciate it. So with that being said, let us jump into Doctor Who news. I think we got a trailer for the new holiday special. What was your guys' first impressions of seeing this?
A new trailer and a release date.
Exactly. Well, we knew it. Everyone knew it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not until it's official.
That's true. Yeah,
they had a teaser beforehand.
Well, it's almost a month before the showing now. As of this recording, it's December 1st. So it's being shown on January 1st. So, it's literally a month away, and they gave us a couple extra days when they showed it.
Yeah, I
was really impressed with it. To me, you got a lot of Jack. And, that was also before they even showed the trailer. A couple of days before that, they revealed that, it was confirmed that Barrowman's back as Jack Harkness. So.
Well, I think that was the point.
Jack is back.
That's why we're seeing him again.
So it's pretty awesome. Oh, Chris Noth's character. I could have lived without seeing him. No, it was like he was okay in the Spider. He was in the Spider episode, and he was basically playing a Donald Trump type. And did we really need to see that again, especially with the political climate we have here?
Yes. Yeah, that's probably why. I actually like the character. I like the actor, so I'm okay with him. I doubt he'll be in it a lot. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. Obviously with the Daleks, he's not the big bad.
No, definitely not.
He'll get exterminated.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
I mean, they knew this was going to come out on New Year's Day, and by that time, America would know who was going to be president.
That was wishful thinking on their part.
Well, I mean, but the point being is that it's surprising that they went political without knowing what the decision was, unless they had two versions done. And we'll never know that.
Or had some inside information. No, just kidding.
Oh,
yes.
No. But I could see his character be the reason the Daleks were created, because it looks like at least the shell of them were created by the humans as like a protection force or something, kind of like what they did with Churchill in World War II.
That makes it, that makes it interesting.
Looks like the main person behind it, though, is that woman who's at the podium and introduces them. She looks very sinister. So I'm more interested in what her story is and how she fits into things. Now, keep in mind, this is written by Chibnall, so all hopes have to be like dialed back a bit. All expectations, as good as the trailer may look, just dial it back a bit.
I believe that she's standing in front of 10 Downing Street, so she may be the prime minister.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting because, we saw what happened on Doctor Who the last time they had a female prime minister.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe she is related maybe to Chris Noth. Yeah. Maybe husband, wife, that kind of thing.
Maybe. That's not a bad way possible. I'd be very interesting to see where they go with it. it looks action packed. It looks like there's a lot that happens.
Daleks coming back?
Yeah. I liked what they did. I am, because I liked what they did with the Daleks 2 Christmas episodes ago.
Oh, that's true. They did do a good job with that.
And they actually made the Daleks scary again,
The Daleks look menacing. It looks like it's a similar plot to the Cybermen story, right? Where they're introducing this thing where for use in the public, and that's going to backfire because it's really a plot against humans by a Doctor Who villain. So it's very similar in that respect, what it looks like on the outset anyway. The big questions are, does the Doctor, because all the shots of the Doctor are in the prison. So we don't know how much of the Doctor we're going to get as far as, you imagine she's going to arrive just in time to save the day, because look, these 3 companions for 2 seasons have not convinced us that they are capable of defeating anybody, let alone like a Dalek invasion. I mean, maybe with Jack's help they can.
No, none of them look like they could chew bubble gum and tie their shoelaces at the same time. So stop a Dalek invasion? No.
I don't know. I mean, Yaz was starting to become a little more.
Well, sure. And far be it from me to say a bad word against Graham. So, like I'm not, that's there. So, but look, I don't know. I just sort of had and we get the feeling, from the shots of the Doctor, especially that last shot, that she's been there a while. I don't know if she's counting days,
she's got
years, months.
Well, there's like a
whatever
bazillion marks on the wall.
Right. And I think, as someone pointed out, maybe before we started recording, I think her hair's darker. Like, she's been there a while, and she's got a serious face on.
She looks kind of haggard.
Yeah,
a little worn.
Yeah, not a Doctor that we've seen yet. Like this. I mean, not in her run.
No,
anyway.
Most definitely not. No, it was interesting. So I'm wondering, is this supposed to be Shada that she's at?
Something like
or
it. Or
is it just a space prison?
I don't know if it's specifically that. But
it would be cool if it was that. I mean, if it was, I could think of certain showrunners that would make sure it was, but
perhaps not this one.
I don't know if they're going to refer to that or not. So
no, be very curious to see what they do with it. It looks great. Some people even online have been saying, "Is this a Dr. Light story?" It's not going to be a Dr. Light story. Yeah.
I don't think the season's going to have a Dr. Light story. I think that's why they are removing 2 companions.
Good point.
So that.
No, exactly. And we did get official word that, Tossin and Bradley are both leaving the show at the end of this episode. We've known for some time.
Graham.
Yes, you can have
to mourn Graham.
Graham.
Yes.
Some people are already saying that Graham's going to come back, every once in a while to poke his head in.
One of my items on my menu is it's a turkey bacon brie sandwich, and I call it the Graham.
Nice.
He always carries a sandwich.
I know
delicious.
what I'm ordering when I come
delicious.
to the restaurant.
We all want
give me
Graham.
An extra large Graham. With some Yaz fries on the side, toast and fries.
Well, it's interesting because isn't it only 8 episodes?
Oh right, yeah, they did shorten it.
Yes.
Right?
So
we're only getting 8 episodes.
I'm wondering how that's going to change the dynamic. I mean, it's especially good if they take out a few companions with that few episodes. They need to tighten it up.
They basically had to cut all of Graham's lines out, so basically that's why we lost 3 episodes. So we're gonna you're gonna find a farewell from 2 companions, and we don't know if Jack is going to be traveling with the Doctor at all this next season, or if Barrowman's just in one and done. We don't know what's going on with that. They've been very tight-lipped about that. And it's just interesting because they kept on saying throughout the trailer, oh, don't worry, I'm Jack, I'm immortal, and something's going to have to be about that. Maybe he gets his head cut off and becomes the face of Boa or something in this one.
God, let's hope not.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with that, so I'm excited for it. It looks good, but I've been fooled by Chibnall before. So
Chibnall!
I also really like how it seems like their base. I don't know if it's Jack's place or if they've just set up some sort of temporary headquarters on Earth. But the companions and Jack, when they're meeting and talking about the threat in the trailer anyway, they're in this room that looks like an old TARDIS. I mean, it looks like it's got the round.
They have the TARDIS. They have a TARDIS. Yeah, they've got the TARDIS
That's
from
true.
Gallifrey
So I wonder
that they got at the end of the season.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because they got the other TARDIS when they because she sent them to Earth,
right?
And then she was going to follow them in her TARDIS, and then she was on her way when the Jadoon busted in at the very end.
Yeah, but I didn't think they were actually competent enough to open it again and use it.
No, I thought it was.
I noticed they've got little Post-it notes everywhere, sticky notes and Post-it notes. It's like, you probably don't need those in a TARDIS, but okay, whatever.
Okay.
Look, as much as I'm making fun of it
and
seeming skeptical and everything, I am excited. I like the title, Revolution of the Daleks. Sounds like a cool Dalek story. It's not written by Terry Nation, so that's good. Look, it's going to be good to see these people again. As much as I get frustrated because the potential of the show, and I like this woman playing the Doctor. I like the actors playing the companions. I'm happy with the Daleks look threatening. They look like a cool new threat. I just hope it plays out as good as the trailer looks.
Pans out, because it's all in the writing.
This is it.
And the writing has been very uneven.
This is all we're getting for a while.
Right. Who knows how long?
This might be the only new Doctor Who we're going to possibly get in 2021. We might not get anything till next year's holiday special, if we get it. If we even get one of those,
absolutely. I am. Yeah.
So we don't know. So I'm skeptical, but I'm not going to be sad to see Tosin gone. I'm not going to be. Well, I will be sad to see Bradley gone, but I'm looking for, like I said, I'm going into it with an open mind, fingers crossed. And, bring it on. They have had a couple set pictures from the next season. And I don't know if we don't really talk about spoilers on the show or things like that. But it seems like we're getting a lot of old villains back for the next season, which is kind of interesting.
Well, that was a criticism, that he wasn't bringing back some of the old villains. So. I mean, I don't know. Chris Chibnall's just got to step up his game. Yeah. He really does. I wonder how many episodes he's writing for the next season. Though I will say, to be fair, the last Dalek episode he wrote was good. That holiday special was what he wrote that, and it was quite good.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we will have to wait and see. The other news we did get in an interview over the weekend, Jodie literally just came out and said, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm loving playing Doctor Who and being the Doctor, and she wants to stay. We've talked about multiple times, if Chibnall goes, is she going to go type thing. From that interview, it sounded like even if Chibnall leaves, that she wants to stay on for a bit.
I'd love to see her with a different showrunner and see what they could do with her, because I think she has not been utilized in the way that she should have been. And she's great. Jodie's been great the whole time, no matter what she's given. No matter how bad the dialogue is or the plots are.
No, agree completely. and, let her stay. She didn't say anything about trying to break Tom's record or anything, but I think she's kind of hinting that she's not going to be a 3-and-done doctor.
But keep in mind too, what is she going to say? It's right before the holiday special. It's not like she's going to be like, man, I'm so tired of doing this.
I am just out
she's
here.
She's like, man, I cannot wait till this thing is over. This contract is done. She's not going to say that. So I have it with a grain of salt. Plus, as we, kind of mentioned before, it might not be up to her. So whether she stays or not.
That's true.
That's a good point.
True.
That's a very good point.
Well, they haven't worn her out yet because there's been no Comic-Cons, there's been no public appearances. So she has at least an extra year of energy in her that she didn't waste this year.
That's true. That's true.
That's actually a good point.
That's a very good point.
That's actually a really good point. And it's been less episodes.
Right.
So
No, most definitely. Exactly. That's very, very true. I'll be curious to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does. And, until Marvel, MCU calls and say, hey, we wanted you to play blah, 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 because I could see a couple Marvel characters that she could play very easily. And one or two of them are even British. I think she'd be really awesome. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. And, if she sticks with Doctor Who after that. So I'm curious. Let's just say that, because think about it. You've had, David Tennant has worked with MCU now, and you also have, Peter Capaldi is going to be with the DCU in Suicide Squad. So Matt, we're waiting for you to see where you show up.
He showed up in the Terminator franchise.
So
yeah,
he did. He also showed up as the Prince of England. So. The Crown, so yep, so pretty awesome to see. So yeah, I think the future is bright. I just want to see more Doctor Who. So that's I think that's
I'm just
most
excited to see new Doctor Who, no matter what.
True, very very true.
Great.
So it should
Matt Smith also played Charles Manson.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did. I forgot about that. Yeah, he was great as Manson too. He's played
not
a
afraid
very
of playing
of
portraying controversial characters.
No, I think he seeks them out.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Exactly. Especially the Doctor. That's as controversial as you get. So I think that's going to wrap it up for news, but let's take a quick break and we will be back in a moment and we'll jump in with the Pandorica opens.
Tonight's show is a little different. Tonight's show is about a man who's not really a man. He's a doctor, but he's not really a doctor. Like Dr. Phil, but awesome. Most people in the United States of America have not heard of him. He's just like me in that regard. Who is he? He's the Doctor.
We are the Earth Station 1 podcast, and we approve this message.
Hey, I'm Judy, and I've been a listener of Earth Station 1 for over 10 years. Yeah, every day while Mike edited together over 550 episodes, all that geek-themed blah, blah, blah. I've listened so much that now I hear howdy in my sleep. You too can enjoy all the Earth Station 1 fun wherever fine podcasts are found. Okay, Mike, I did this for you. Are we going to get another dog now?
The Earth Station 1 podcast. Over 10 years for geeks by geeks.
There were cracks. Through some we saw silence and the end of all things.
It's the crack in my wall. Two parts of space and time that should never have touched, pressed together. All through the universe, ripped in the continuum.
How can it be here? How can it be following me?
I don't know yet, but I'm working it out. Some sort of space-time cataclysm, an explosion maybe. Big enough to put cracks in the universe. But what?
The universe is cracked. The Pandorica will open. Silence will fall.
Pandorica. That's a fairy tale.
If it is real, it's here and it's opening.
What is it?
box, cage, a prison?
That was a goblin or a trickster or a warrior soaked in the blood of 1 billion galaxies. The most feared being in all the cosmos. It's a Pandorica.
More than just a fairy tale.
It's opening.
Your world has visitors. Daleks, Doctor. And cyber ships. Sontaran, Slovene, Trelonian, Nestine, Dravin.
But what's in there? What could justify all this? What are you? What could you possibly be?
Welcome back to Earth Station Who. It is now time to talk all about the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang. We are going back to June 19th, 2010. Gosh, 10 years. It just feels like yesterday that we had seen all these. It doesn't feel like it's been 10 years. No. And it also explains that's why, Matt Smith looks so young, and so does Karen and even Arthur, all three of them. And this was a great wrap up to the series. And I loved seeing it again. I haven't probably seen it 4 or 5 years. So it was a nice treat to be able to revisit this, visiting old friends. And I just love the way they opened it, because the montage with basically, starting with Van Gogh, with the painting and everything, and, diving into it. And this whole series of these 2 episodes is so great River Song. It is just...
from the very beginning, just even the way they bring her in Storm Cage.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It's just...
It's like, I'm allowed to get phone calls on the,
Yeah, it goes without saying that I'm a big River and Alex Kingston fan. But man, if I'd never seen her before, this 2-parter would have made me fall in love with her. She's amazing in this.
Definitely.
She's perfect.
And, from the thing, how she gets the vortex manipulator, and, yes, we got this off of a wrist, off of a young time agent. Of course, everyone thought it was Jack, but I'm sure there's other time agents out there, folks. And
he could have regenerated his hand.
Of course he can.
Yes, he's immortal. Who knows what all he can
Hell,
do.
he could grow another body from the wrist, knowing Jack. So there'd be 2 of them.
But, I mean, that's such a great line. I said off the wrists.
And it was great. And just the humor and the storyline, just, we're going to go check out the world's oldest message, and the TARDIS is going to translate it. Finally, the TARDIS could translate anything. They get there. Hello, sweetie. It was just like, that was just awesome. It was a lot. There was just so much good in the storyline and everything, and it was just so well written. In the Big Bang, I think this was really the first time I really saw, Doctor Who play with time travel like this. And, they've talked about doing things like that. Oh, I must have been here in the past or in the future or something. But this was the first time you actually saw the Doctor, out of order.
Going back and forth.
And everything.
Using time as a way to move the drama along.
It's all Stephen.
I mean, that is the genius of Stephen Moffat. I mean, he was, no matter what you think of him, he was just so good at playing with the aspects of time, making it an intricate part of the story and making it all connect.
Exactly. It's just like,
because of course that's what the Doctor would do. I mean, why wouldn't he use time?
Heck, if Bill and Ted could do it, the Doctor should be doing it,
What I enjoyed a 2-parter is how quickly it moved. There was very little space in between action and drama. It just kept continually moving forward. It was just really 2 hours that just went by so quickly.
Yeah, that first episode builds and builds and builds and builds and builds until this until the end, which is the ultimate cliffhanger, right? The destruction of time and space as we know it. I mean, you don't get a bigger cliffhanger than that.
That's got to be one of the best Doctor Who cliffhangers, when the doors are closing on the Doctor.
Oh, exactly.
And the TARDIS is exploding.
And Rory just killed Amy, literally.
Yes, and Rory just killed Amy.
River's stuck in the TARDIS that's blown up.
You basically have this. Right, you have like 3 cliffhangers.
Yeah. It's just not one; it's 3 of them, and it was just like. I was just like, I couldn't watch it the second part right away because I was just so blown away. It was just like, oh my God, I forgot all that happened. Oh, wow. And just to see, all the Doctor Who villains and it had the classic speech, the Stonehenge speech.
Which is become, it's one of his best speeches. I love it for its own. But I also love it because it really harkens back to the speech he gives, Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, where he says, if there's one thing you don't put in a trap,
it's the Doctor.
It's me. I'm paraphrasing here. But which is so like, I mean, how cool, like, and yet here he is walking, that they're trying to put him in this trap. Like, it's brilliant the way that it kind of plays off each other. And Stephen plays with that. Like this whole storyline plays with, what the Doctor does by going back in time and setting up these events, they actually did production wise, because they filmed when they were filming all the episodes of the season, they had to film the parts of of scenes that are going to be in this finale. So they're doing, they're setting it all up too, the same way like that the Doctor's going back through time. It's just very skillful. And probably we've talked about, I think we just did that episode about, how to jump into Doctor Who and what's a good starting off point. And I think we all said that 11th Hour is one of the best, if not the best, places to start. It's one of the best introduction stories that there is, season premieres, right? I will challenge you to come up with a better finale than this one. It may be the best series finale or season finale. They call it series finale, but the best like series finale of any of Doctor Who's before or since.
I agree.
I agree completely. I can't think of one that, even came close. When they introduced the War Doctor at the very end, with introducing John Hurt as the War Doctor or as the Doctor, it was just like, but this was one of the most satisfying 2-parters and endings, because a lot of us were like, I was right, that wasn't the same Doctor in that Angel story.
Right.
And it was,
he was wearing the jacket.
Exactly.
He wasn't wearing the jacket.
Exactly. Oh God, there was so much controversy and going back and forth, because we had, we were doing these reviews live back when we were reviewing Doctor Who on Earth Station 1, and that the Doctor wearing the jacket or not wearing the jacket, we talked for 20 minutes going back and forth on that during that episode. And it was just so good. And, it explained, so much about Amy and, that, why was she in that house all by herself in that huge house, type thing. And it explains her parents were taken by the crack. That's why she didn't remember what happened to her mom and dad. And, the same way Rory did, they probably, their daughter had a crack in the room, being a dad, you'd want to go fix it. Zap, he's gone, honey, where's your father? Father? What father? I don't know where he went. And
what's
same way.
Augustus Pond. I love that.
Augustus Pond.
Yes, Augustus. I kept thinking Augustus.
Yeah, Augustus Pond, my little daddy. Oh, and he was adorable. Both the parents were. And you also got to meet the aunt for the first time in the story too.
Yes, Aunt Sharon.
Yes.
When it's in and little Amelia is looking outside for the stars, she's drawn stars, and her aunt insists that there's no such thing as stars. Where are they getting the word from? Or is it like a unicorn? Is it a fantasy?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Because she mentions that she doesn't want her to join one of those star cults.
Right.
So there's like some like little tinge of memory that's been left there that are sort of in the back of everybody's minds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like they know there's something missing, but they can't quite put their finger on it.
Exactly. And it was interesting. And I loved, we don't want her to become a cultist, by saying that knowing that there's stars out there. She doesn't want him to become one of those freaks like Richard Herndl or whatever.
Like Richard
Dawkins, that's it. And it was awesome. It was just so well done. All the conversations and the whole thing. And then you started seeing the Doctor appearing, everywhere. And the Fez. You got the Fez for the first time.
We have the introduction of the Fez.
Exactly.
And the destruction of the Fez.
And the reintroduction of the Fez.
I have one question for you. What the hell is that on your head? I just love that.
What in the name of insanity is that in your head?
I wear fezzes now.
I wear a fez now.
Fezzes are cool.
And I loved it. And they took care of it. Because I was like, it was just like, awesome. So and
Mike, you had mentioned, I just want to get back to it because you had mentioned a few minutes ago that, Amelia, was not chosen by the Doctor randomly, right? So here's where like Moffat haters are probably like getting ready to charge, right? Because it's like this is the beginning of the companion being important, not just random. I think every time before this, the companions were randomly just encountered, right? This is the first time. Right. This is the first time where like the Doctor's like, no, there's something up with you. You need to come with me. And I think here it really pays off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it works here.
It definitely works. But Donna, I think, was the first one to have been chosen by the Doctor without him realizing it, the impact that she had in the Hooniverse.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole thing and the fact that she saved planets, and he always said there was something about you.
That could be
true. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, totally.
But I mean, this is the first time he consciously recruits somebody.
Yes.
Who is like, because she's special, because there's something about her, and it's something that he would do, for the next couple of companions, and it would bite Stephen in the ass.
Yeah, I think so. See, the thing was, I think he crash landed there randomly, but he, knew something was afoot as soon as he met, young Amelia. There was something.
Well, I don't think he crash landed randomly. I think the TARDIS directed him
good
there.
Point.
Good point. We've gone through that. Yes.
The TARDIS is the smartest one in the room.
What you want, but gives you what you need.
Well, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it was really interesting. And the first time I watched it, I missed the whole thing that, the Nestine Conscious took, her memories and, was the alien that went to the house and got and planned everything from the books and, everything that she had. I missed that when I watched it years ago, but this time it was like, that so makes sense now. And so
this is a Doctor Who fanboy writing this season. This is the first time, I think, because I mean, as good as Russell T Davies was, he didn't really pull the fanboy card out very often during his run. But right away, Stephen starts referencing classic Who big time, and it's just the way he weaves it in, I think it's perfect. It's brilliant. This is, I think this is Steven like at top of his game. Like he
was hitting it all on cylinders.
This first season of his is just outstanding. And I put this above, the first season of, not let alone like the middle or whatever season of any showrunner. This is almost a perfect season.
The next, the thing is, his writing was so well done, but the acting also was so well done. Yeah. Yes. I think, Arthur came into his own in this two-parter completely.
Yes. Before this, Rory was a little annoying.
Yeah. Rory, Rory, it wasn't that upsetting that he got killed off again, right. That it was, that he was quickly becoming the Kenny of, the storyline. But, in this story, he became to his own as not first off as the Roman soldier, then as the centurion watching over the Pandorica for 2,000 years. He was the one who waited. And because it was always Amy was the companion that waited. And then Rory was the one who waited 2,000 years for Amy. And I'll tell you, when the Pandorica opened at the beginning of that episode and Amy was sitting in the Pandorica instead of the Doctor, how many of you were like, what?
What did she say?
Yeah.
It's confusing or something.
It's like back then it was like, did I miss something? Yeah, wait, it's like, but I thought it was awesome. And then Matt, bless Matt for these stories. He, for someone so young, being able to handle such a huge role for this. We all joked about it when they were going to hire a 26-year-old to play the Doctor.
And he ends up acting older than half the guys that have played the Doctor.
Oh,
there's
God,
an
yes.
age in it. Like when he's talking to Amy, he's not talking to her as a peer. It's more of an older statesman, a father figure, if you will. Like he's
or a mentor.
Exactly.
Figure.
Yeah. He's got this, that scene where he's saying goodbye to her is like a grandfather saying goodbye to a child. Like he really, and I'm watching him and I'm like, I know you're like practically like old enough, just barely old enough to drink. And yet, like in this country, and here you are, you're acting older than Hartnell, really. Like it's like he's
exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing what depth he brought to that.
No, he completely did. The scene where in the first episode when Amy had brought out the ring to show whose ring, what is this ring? Whose is it? Type thing. And how he had to talk her down from it and, try to explain it. Cause at the time we thought Rory was gone, we didn't know better at that time. And then, the whole scene with the Cyberman, which was scary as hell. The Cyberman with it split the head open and the skull is inside it. And, we've never seen that before on the show. And that was so well done. Basically the head was, lunging at Amy. It was just like, whoa, which was really awesome. But then when you realized it was Rory was back and, the Doctor was like rushing in there to check on Amy and says, come along, Rory, let's go. And then basically Rory was trying to get a word in edgewise. And then the Doctor said, wait a minute.
That was so well played. I mean, Matt did that so perfectly.
Well, exactly.
The way he played
that.
Arthur.
Arthur played that very well also.
Yeah. They really play well off each other.
Yes, their interaction.
Well, from that point on till Amy and Rory left, Arthur was awesome on the series.
Rory was written in a way, because of the events that he goes through in this, he's written in a way where he's a lot more confident. And he's not that wishy-washy character that you kind of wish would go away. Like he's he really brings something to the table. And the three of them have a rapport that, I mean, throughout their next season and a half that they're on.
Yeah.
They're just great. I mean, there's no question here, like, oh, there's too many people in the TARDIS. It's a perfect trio.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you contrast this with the Jodie Whittaker series and the way the companions interact with her there, I mean, it's night and day. They just never had the same connection that these three have, or four if you include River.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's. You know, I think this whole double parter it's about growing up, and you know, it starts out the whole season as a fairy tale, but you start out reading fairy tales, but eventually you have to grow up and step away from the fairy tale,
mm-hmm.
and I think that was really part of Moffat's plan to do that. And he did it masterfully.
Oh, very much so.
I mean, there's only a couple duds this season. Most of it is it's just a really solid, entertaining season.
Yeah, and it seems so, I mean, we were kind of chuckling, talking about the whole like season, like threat being the crack, right? Like this cracks, like the universe is cracking. They're like, oh, we're afraid of a crack.
We're afraid of scary.
Exactly, but I mean, we see it in Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. We see how devastating and how dangerous the crack can be. And here it just, I mean, it's the end of everything. The absolute end of everything. And it does look, to your point, Mike, it does look like he was trying to set up something behind it, because even at the end, the Doctor says, we don't know why, what caused the crack, or, what the voice was or anything like that. The whole, like, silence thing, silence will fall, was, we didn't know how that was going to play out. I don't know if I don't think that played out the way he expected.
No, not at all, because they touched on it real briefly in Matt's final story with with this episode where he regenerated, that it was an offshoot of the church that became the Silence, and they're the ones who took over the TARDIS, and it was just done in a passing line. I think Moffat had this whole thing planned, but I think he got thrown off when Matt said he wanted to leave the show.
Yeah, I imagine in his head that, and knowing Steven, the way he works, I would imagine if he was going to end Matt's run on his terms, he would have brought it home, a lot of elements that were in this season. He would have brought a lot of, because that's the way he works. He brings stuff back that's from the beginning, and he just didn't get a chance to do that. And unfortunately, his outstanding start as a showrunner, man, it collapses towards the end, which is too bad.
No, agreed completely. And
at least at the end of Matt's run.
No, towards the end of Capaldi's, we've talked about that till we were blue in the face. So let's not even go into that. It was interesting to see. And, you did, for someone to try to control the TARDIS like it was done. And, I loved, the Doctor, they're such a married couple, him and River, it's just like, you're not flying it right. You're the one who taught me how to fly this. It was just like, that's such a husband and wife thing to do. And it was just so out there. And, like we said, Alex was there, and, at the time you had no idea who River was. So, she played it, the way River knew, Moffat knew. I think they were the only two that actually knew that Rory and Amy were her parents and everything.
Yeah, I kept trying to put myself back in that sense of mind where before you know anything, and it makes the episode even more enjoyable in a way, because you don't really have any idea of who River really is to the Doctor.
River with the interchangeable heads. Oh, I've been with a Nestine before. Oh, it's so much fun.
When they go out in the garden together and he talks to her and Matt asks her, "Are you married, River?" And she yes, and they go through that whole little scene that was so wonderfully comic and yet serious and dramatic, because at the end of it, I believe she says, "Well, you'll find out soon, and I'm sorry," and she, then things will change.
Yeah, exactly.
That was such a highlight of the show, of that particular episode, was that scene between the two of them. It was brilliant.
No, it was just awesome.
I don't know that it plays out that, because I think when we reviewed, because recently, I think early this year, we reviewed Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, and we were remarking how it does seem like Alex Kingston playing River knows that Amy is her daughter. But here, I didn't get that sense as much. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an earlier River than that one, right?
Yes.
Correct.
What a mess, right? You just have to, but yeah, because she said something at the end of that one that alluded to this, because she had been there. That River was after this for sure, because that River knew about the Pandorica,
right? Yeah, she mentions that they'll see
so
her
somehow somewhere
Pandorica.
between this encounter with the Doctor and Amy, and then the one with Time of Angels, like River finds out that Amy's her mom, right?
Well, River
She knows.
Her mom.
But she doesn't.
River knows from the very beginning.
Not as much, but because there's the episode when they think the Doctor dies, and what River knows that he's still alive after the astronaut thing, and because Amy still thinks, and River was like, how hard it was for me not to tell you, who I was during these things. So she mentions this and everything.
Do you remember what she was wearing in the garden when she said it? She was wearing camo, from the...
Oh, right, from the Byzantium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so it was very interesting to see, where she's at different points. Yep. And so, and you have to try to remember she's going one direction, and, and then you have to then throw the whole, the Husbands of River song into this also, because that actually takes place for River after the Angel story. Right. And that's right before the library.
Right.
But, for us, it's seasons down, so it's like,
they're not going in opposite directions, they're both zigzagging all over the place. It's not like one's going constantly in reverse and the other's going constantly, it's not Memento.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think Moffat at first said opposite directions, and then it was like, no,
he's like,
I can't do
maybe
that.
it'd be more fun if it does.
Because if you think the beginning of the next season, when they first meet in the diner, the Doctor that's there with River and Amy, and that one has already been a couple hundred years older, and he's had all these other adventures with River, like Jim the Fish, or when they went to Asgard, and things like that. So that actually happened with that Doctor, but then the Doctor who actually shows up after they think he's dead is, the younger one who we just saw that we saw in this season. So head.
And there's also a convenient out too, because the universe gets rebooted at the end, based on particularly Amy's memories, anything's up for grabs. Like, you can explain anything away, right? Because it's like, oh, well, that's just how Amy remembered.
Right.
But I will say, since we're talking about, I can't stop talking about River. She has one of her.
You have more time next week.
I know, right?
Mike.
This is a perfect segue to next week's episode or next time. But she has one of the best scenes she has in the whole franchise here, where she confronts the Dalek. Yeah.
Mercy.
Oh, that was just so awesome.
If there's a scene that you want to see badass River Song, that's the scene. She is not the Doctor. She is not the companions. You can beg for mercy all you want, but you're not going to get it from River Song.
Yeah, that was a really good way for Moffat to show what kind of person River is.
But then that confuses me timeline-wise, because wasn't it Clara that taught the Daleks mercy, or at least Capaldi's Doctor, going back to Scarrow, that taught the word mercy to the Daleks? So I'm confused with that, if they already did it in this episode. I think Moffat screwed up on that.
I think he did, probably.
Not the first.
No, but that's the first time you really see how dangerous River is. If she has a Dalek quaking in fear of her, it was just awesome. So I think it's all pretty cool.
So the beginning premise of the Pandorica is that the Pandorica is going to house the most feared thing in the galaxy, the most dangerous man or woman, person, being in the universe, a weapon, right? And we find out that that's the Doctor, right? So what are your thoughts on the Doctor being labeled as the most feared being, or the most dangerous being in the universe?
Well, it all depends on your perspective. I mean, that's the thing. To his enemies, I mean, I'm sure he is the most feared thing in the universe, but also, he's an agent of change, which means that sometimes people die. He's not a benevolent God. He's a trickster, really, an agent of he's the chaos element. He's the one who comes in and forces the change to happen. Well, that's pretty scary.
That's what they were referring to in, when they were describing what was inside the Pandorica, was a trickster, and I loved River's line when they were exploring it, and she was saying, basically anytime there's a wizard or, in these stories, it's always him, and it was just awesome, because that touches on going back to Sylvester McCoy's era, when they revealed that basically the Doctor was Merlin even. And so, the Doctor's all throughout history, which is awesome. And that just shows how much stories there are with all the different Doctors that we don't get to see, which is pretty awesome too. And this is the first time where I felt really like the Doctor was a true force of nature. And, that type of thing. It was more that, later on, when, Madame Kavarkia and everything and the Silents were coming after him, he was, they set up a whole army to stop the Doctor. But this was the first time where it felt like the Doctor was a force of nature.
The oncoming storm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly.
Because as powerful and as godlike as David Tennant's Doctor was, I'm particularly thinking of Runaway Bride, where he, is like God of vengeance at the end of that one, and it's scary. And he would have that dark side, If you want to go to a higher power, there is none. It stops with me, is what he said, But as badass as he is, you get a sense from the 11th Doctor, from Matt Smith's Doctor, he's more like part of the universe, like you said, a storm. Like you feel like he's just there. Like he's a fixed being entity within the universe, rather than like anybody who's controlling it or an individual in it. You know what I mean?
Because before this, you always had the Doctor just going from adventure to adventure. And, the only, people that really feared him were the Daleks. And, that he was enemy number one. But anytime this was but otherwise he just went to planet to planet to planet to era throughout the whole series. You didn't feel like the Doctor was this god. And this is in this episode, when he was standing in Stonehenge, that's what you felt like. You felt like he was an unstoppable force, and that scares each and every one of you.
Well, yes, but
basically
he's also bluffing. And he's the ultimate bluffer, right? Like he's like, do not play poker with this man. Like, cause he will win and he will figure out a way he will cheat for sure. He's not going to play by the rules, but he'll beat you every time. Because he's the smartest one in the room. He knows he needs a half hour, to get things done. So he needs to buy half an hour, and he knows, this big pompous speech is gonna give that to him. I don't think he honestly believes. It's not like he can back that up. He knows he can't back it up, but he also knows, he's banking solely on his reputation there, which is what makes it brilliant. It's what I call the best bluff speech that's ever been written. I mean, he's just completely bluffing, and yet, it's right up there with me with Kirk's bluff speech in Wrath of Khan, where he's like, trying to convince Khan that he's stuck down there on the planet. That famous Khan, moment. And this is the Doctor's like kind of Khan moment. And the speech is so well written, that, it becomes famous because other actors who played the Doctor are constantly asked to speak this speech to get their take on it.
Mm-hmm. And you even have past Doctors, and it's just awesome. It is really awesome to hear it. I've even heard what was it, Rob Paulson do it in Pinky's voice, and it is just awesome.
Yeah, we talk about big Doctor moments, whether when actors have their Doctor moments, and Matt obviously had some before this speech, but this is one of those Doctor moments that's just. It's a big Doctor moment for the whole franchise.
And it's just as effective today as I've seen this episode a bazillion times. It's a lot. And I watched it just as raptly this time around as I did the first time. And that moment with Matt is still just as amazing every time. It draws me in.
It's awesome. It was really awesome. And then the reaction when he showed up at the wedding, it was just awesome. And
well, I'm Amy's imaginary friend. Here I am.
There I am. And everyone, and the mom was like, oh, Amy, please stop, not here at your wedding. It's like all those years of psychotherapy going right out the window.
The idea that Stephen put into play and referenced the TARDIS as being like the ultimate wedding present because it's old and new, borrowed and blue, is brilliant. Because when he's talking to Amelia and he's talking about the TARDIS, you're like, that's cool that he's kind of, harping on the TARDIS. Maybe he's lamenting the fact that the TARDIS is gone, but you don't know what it means until after that. Like, he's planting these seeds, and because she's getting married and he knows all this. That's why I love it when she opens the door and he's like, how unexpected. I did not expect, I just happen to be wearing this tux. I didn't know you were going to save me. I didn't know you were going to pull me out of my like trapped existence on another plane.
My non-existence. Yeah.
He was counting on her to do that, and he put himself in a tux to do so.
Mm-hmm. It was great to see, and I loved all that. And God is dancing, and the whole dancing is like, it's like, oh, that's the Doctor dances all over again. So yeah, it was fun, and it was pretty awesome. The one thing that turned me off is that Amy kept on wanting to make out with the Doctor again.
That drives me nuts when Stephen Moffat does stuff like that. It is not.
Because I thought we were past that stuff. I thought they were way past that.
Yes, we should have been past that stuff.
The snog in the bushes line at the end is flat. That lands flat with me. Amy shouldn't be flirting that much anymore. Like their relationship has transcended that, I think. And maybe she's just doing it to jest, and I get that. She doesn't, obviously she's not really going to cheat on Rory at this point, but it falls flat.
Oh, it completely falls on its face. And the doc, she was going to come up and smooch him, and the Doctor put out his hand to right up to her lips. It's like, no, you're a married woman now.
No kissing anymore.
No kissing. And it was just, and then for her right before they were about to leave in the TARDIS, I thought we'd go in the bushes. It's like, what? No.
Yeah, that just, it didn't even fit in there at all. That was very unfortunate.
But the flip side of it was that, so Mr. Pond, he says, no, it's not Mr. Pond. That's not the way it works. Yes, it is.
yes, it is.
yes, it is. So, and that was awesome. That was Rory just at that point, it's like, oh, we got the old Rory back, no backbone. Amy, yes, honey, anything you say, dear. So it was interesting. We've been talking quite some time about this, and we probably could keep on going if we really wanted to. Like how it felt like when they had all the aliens coming in to capture the Doctor to put him in the Pandorica, it felt like, okay, what costumes do we have sitting around? Let's put these aliens in and these aliens. You even had the alien from the Absorb-A-Lot episode in there.
Yeah, we could have done without that one.
Yeah. So the one that the Doctor and Rose were chasing after in the warehouse. It was like, right. What is he doing there? Like the Santarans, I could understand. The Cybermen, I could understand. The Sylvine? No.
Does Sylvine have shit?
Sylvine,
they just brought back whatever costumes they had.
Yes. So.
Well, if they think he's destroyed the universe, then every single creature in the universe would like to lock him up, friend or foe, if they're convinced that he's the issue.
Yeah, that's true. If he's the one who destroys the universe, it doesn't matter what your relationship with him was before. He has to be stopped.
I think it is a fair point, though, that someone pointed out that it is all his villains. It's not like, it's not like Jack or Unit or, his allies show up to stop him and put him in the box. It's just
because they wouldn't believe that he's the one who destroys the universe.
Right.
Well, not just that, but it was just at the time, I don't think it could be Unit because they were 1,000 years in the past,
Well,
Unit couldn't.
They could have made it work if they wanted to. Like I'm just saying, like
they just team up with a race that has time travel.
Yeah, it doesn't Torchwood. Then I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it just. My point is that it's just the villains that show up because they're the ones. I think, Mary, you pointed out they're the ones that are like, he's the most feared being in our universe because he's the one who keeps stopping us. We want to put an end to this guy. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, they have the conceit that he's the one that is going to blow up the universe. So they have that excuse to do that, to get together and do this. But ultimately, are they right? I don't know if we ever find that out.
Well, no, it backfires on them because the universe is destroyed when they put him in the box.
That's true.
So.
But he doesn't really stay in the box, so is it?
Well, but he brings the universe back.
That's true.
Including
all of them too, right?
Yes, including all of them.
Which he didn't have to do
because.
No, not at all, and it was interesting because, as the Doctor said, the Pandorica captured the old universe, not the one that reset that was being destroyed and coming in on itself. So it was just, it was just interesting to see. And also you had Amy's memories too. So, where are some of these people coming from then, that she's never met? Yeah. That's a whole.
Well, because it was all in the box, right. And she soaked it all up while she was in the box for 2,000 years.
True. Very, very true. So it's ideas, and I thought it worked no matter what. I think this one worked. Do we have any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this one?
The only last thought I had was I thought I've seen, countless stories where Stonehenge is used, and I really think this is my favorite. Especially, I love the idea of the underhenge.
yes, I love that they call it.
I love that it calls it the underhenge. And I'm like, that's awesome. I would like to see the underhenge again. I think that's it's pretty. I would like to know more about the underhenge. But
and I think for me, this is the only time when the new Cybermen were actually scary. The way, because I really don't like the more robot-looking Cybermen. I like the older ones, but this one was genuinely scary with the tentacles coming out of the neck and trying to assimilate Amy.
Because I think this was the last time we saw the Cybermen until that Neil Gaiman story that they did. And then the Cybermen ended up looking like Iron Man, basically, in that storyline.
Yeah.
And so and they redid them again. So, the Cybermen were completely scary in this one. It was just like, you and what body, and then the body shows up and the head crawls over to it. It's just like, oh, no. All right, let's go ahead and rate this one. 1 out of 5 TARDISes, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Shirley, you're our guest tonight. Would you like to go first?
5, definitely.
For both parts?
For both, yes, for both parts. Yes, for sure.
Okay. Mr. Mike.
5 seems so small of a rating to give it.
It's bigger on the inside.
It's a 5, but only because the rules are I can't go any higher than that. But it doesn't get much better than this.
Nope, totally understand. Mary.
I'm giving it a 10 because each episode is a 5.
Oh, good one.
Oh, she did it. That is awesome.
I mean, these are 2 of my favorite episodes of all time. I mean, they're just endlessly entertaining. I can watch them over and over again, and I have. And I mean, they're so good you can name a restaurant after them. I love them.
Thank you.
No, that is pretty darn awesome. No, I have to agree with you guys. I'm going to go 5. I couldn't really see much fault in these, and any fault that did come about went out the window with the whole episode as a whole. And I adore this one. These are 2 of my favorite Matt Smith stories, and I think Matt's first season was was great overall. There was, like we said, 1 or 2 clunkers, but overall I thought it worked really, really well. We would love to hear from you guys at home. What did you guys think? Feedback at earthstationwho.com. Please let us know what you guys thought. We would love to hear from it. Tell us, are we off base, or did we miss anything that, we've been talking about this for quite some time now. Did we miss any little bit of it? Please let us know. We'll read it on our next episode. Want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Shirley, thank you so much. It's been too long since you've been on the show with us.
I love stopping by and chatting with you guys. It's anytime. Just give me a call.
Oh, I definitely will. We'll make it sooner than later. Want to promote the restaurant one more time and what you have coming up?
We are the Pandorica restaurant. We are in New York State, upstate a little bit, just an hour north of New York City. Train comes right to our little city out of Grand Central. We are the Pandorica restaurant, 165 Main Street, Beacon. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as the Pandorica Restaurant, and our webpage, thepandoricarestaurant.com. Thank you.
That is awesome. It is a great place, folks. Once everything, please help support the small businesses. We just had Small Business Saturday. This is a small business right here, folks. And she is one of the really good ones. Please help support this young lady. She deserves it. And let's thank our regulars for being here tonight. Mr. Mike, we made it through another one, sir.
We did, and what a good one it was, too. I know, Graham wasn't in it, but it's as good as it could be without Graham.
Yeah, for a Grahamless episode, it was decent. It was decent.
As always, it's my pleasure.
And Mary, thank you so much for tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed talking about these 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Well, the holidays are here. You're another small business. Do you want to help promote your artwork?
I would. You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Excellent. Excellent, folks. Thank you, everyone. When we were going around the table at Thanksgiving this year, what am I thankful for? Thanking for my ESO family, friends of the show, our listeners, the podcast. We couldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys at home. And we're so glad we get to talk about some of our favorite stuff to be able to talk about. Where else, in this day and age, could I sit with my friends and talk into a microphone and talk about some of the best TV shows on, and Doctor Who is right there. It's pretty awesome, folks, and that's what I'm thankful for, that I get to do this with you guys every 2 weeks. We're thankful, and, we're going to be even more thankful next week when we come to you guys for our next episode. And we are going to be going back to the Diary of River Song. That's right, folks. We are looking for season 5, where she gets to meet a master or 2 or 3 or 4. So it should be a lot of fun. And we get to hear that wonderful theme music again, guys. Are you ready?
Oh, man.
I can hardly wait.
So please join us for that. Until then, on behalf of myself, Mike Gordon, Mary Ogle, Shirley, thank you so much for joining us once again. We will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Be safe. Enjoy the holiday season. And, just be thankful. Have fun. Peace. And be safe. And we're done. Boom.
Woohoo!
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.